super normal, not at all psycho Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is telling us the end is near. Speaking at the Knox County Republican Party Lincoln Day dinner in Knoxville, Tennessee, a room I am incredibly glad I was not in, she, in a very unhinged way, went all apocalyptic on us. Of course, she didn't just open with the apocalyptic statements. That's not proper speaking etiquette. You got to start with something light. So she did oblige that rule and started with this.
I want to start really with 2 words. Let's go, Brandon.
The 2 words of let's go, Brandon. Pretty incredible. She can't even count to 3, yet she's in Congress and decided to open her speech with the very light, thank you for having me, it's an honor, and F the President of the United States in her first sentence. And then she got to the good stuff where she said the totally commonplace, not at all odd for a sitting lawmaker to publicly say. Let's roll this clip.
In all seriousness, there is a calling on each and every one of you to be involved and to rise up. It is an honor to serve in this time. I believe that many of us in this room believe that we are in the last of the last days, and that's not a time to complain, that's not a time to grumble, to be dismayed, to be disheartened, but a time to rejoice. You get to be a part of ushering in the second coming of Jesus.
How moving that speech was. All of us should rise up, she says. And I love that not all of them rise up. Half the people have their backs turned to her and we're eating their chicken. They're like, oh, whatever, it's the end times, we're all gonna rise up. And in a few minutes, I'm waiting for the chocolate mousse to come at the end of this meal. That's the way politics goes down these days. Pretty incredible. I prefer generally that we stick to the old tried and true separation of church and state. But if we're not gonna do that anymore, could we at least try to avoid the super creepy religious stuff? Could the blending just be like hymns and fun songs or something? But apparently it cannot be. This is the state of our politics now. You literally can believe anything, you can say anything, you don't have to hide your craziness. You can just be out in the open with whatever level of bonkers you'd like. And you don't even need the ability to count to 3 to be a lawmaker in this country. I think things are going well, but I'm curious, you fellas' thoughts.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 words. I don't agree with Lauren Boebert.
That was 3 words, Jenk.
But no one even noticed. They're like, oh yeah, good 2 words, solid, nailed it. Okay, I mean you can argue for 4, you can't argue for 2. Yeah. Okay, and it's such a great point by Ben. She starts the speech with F the President, right? And then when Biden gives a speech that's like, oh, the ultra MAGA Republicans are slightly problematic. They're like, oh, he's being so uncivil. He's being so, they start almost all their speech with F Biden, right?
Yeah, and those who are undermining democracy need to stop, but the rest of the Republicans that are still entertaining it and endorsing it, you're all good, you're still my buddy. The Republicans, F you, bro, you're going down.
Right. Gee, I can't tell who's more uncivil, but I don't know. Let's call it 50-50 and call ourselves corporate media. Okay, anyways, now to the heart of the matter. So guys, it's bad news though, you heard it, right? We're not just in the last days, we're in the last of the last days. That is a powerful 2 words. So what is the last of the days? Okay, so does that mean we're gone in like 3 months, 3 days? She's like, now remember guys, this is the last 3 days on earth. They're still eating the chicken, okay? And they're like, and that's why you got 3 days left, okay? That's why you gotta vote 17 days from now. Wait, what? Like really, if you really thought it was the last of the last of the last of the Mohicans and the days, right? Would you be doing this? 100%. If it was me, I'm gone, man. I'm in the wind.
At the very least, they should be serving this food in to-go containers.
Yeah, I mean, do something fun. Go out, go, I don't know, shoot ferrets or whatever you guys do. Have fun if it's the last of the last days. Now, okay, now to get serious. Look, guys, fundamentalist religion is a cancer and we can't, in my lifetime, mainstream media will not talk about it under penalty of law because they're afraid of offending people. Okay, some people think, oh no, Jesus is gonna vacuum them up into the sky, right? And he's gonna leave the rest of us to die. But we can't talk about it. We can't actually say, hey, wait a minute, how's that gonna work? Does he have a vacuum cleaner? What is, okay, that part's easy. That's okay, fine, I get it. Doesn't matter, he doesn't need a vacuum cleaner, I get it, you guys get sucked up. No problem, by the way. No, as long as we stay down here and we're just having the same lives, but you guys, I saw you guys go up. God, boys, good job, go get them, okay? But no, the rest of the story is that in their version, not an actual religion, but in the fundamentalist version, then Jesus murders the rest of you. 7 billion people dead in a pool of blood. And guys, rejoice, it's almost here. No, don't rejoice, you're maniacs. I mean, you tell me, does everybody die in end times except for the people who got sucked up into the sky, or don't they? Everyone says that they die at the end, right? So we're supposed to celebrate that? Even let's say I'm one of the ones getting sucked up. Don't I look down and go, are you sure we should murder the rest of them? Don't you think that? If you're an evangelical Christian and you genuinely believe in the end times, don't you think like, wait, don't kill them all, don't kill, oh no, that's Bob, my neighbor, oh god damn it.
No, separate from Bob.
Yeah,
that is the situation. It's a one-on-one personal relationship. So that's the approach here. But the thing is what's been added to this is the violence that's added to this particular religion, which has been added to many other religions as well. Those religions we even had fights and battles over. We talk about how there was those folks who took control of the airplanes on 9/11 and killed themselves as they did the work that they believed of their belief systems, right? So if now we have conservative politicians in the United States of America, and no, this is not new, saying the violence we must carry out in the name of God in order to carry on his word, because we're at the end of almost near to the end of the end times, it's our responsibility to do so. It's an absolute bastardization of what you're supposed to be believing in, which is that we're good, chill, try and tell your neighbor Bob so he isn't the one that ends up dead and not in the kingdom of heaven. He's the one you're supposed to try and convince with love and compassion and the word. Instead, it's changed into hate, my gun and my knife, and if you don't listen to me, I will kill you right before I go and then vote for my conservative representative to then maybe go and continue to kill more people. Oh, but then at the same time, then we want to make sure we preserve those babies. Why are we concerned with babies? We're out killing right now. There's so many different collisions of logic in the way that they approach it. They can do it because no matter what, at the end of the whole thing, they can say, because God told me. And then you can't argue with that.
So the most dangerous part and the scariest part is that they think that you're just like fundamentalist Muslims. They think, no, I'm supposed to make God's creation happen here on earth based on what I think he's going to do. Has the invisible man in the sky ever talked to them? No, but do they think that? Every once in a while, they're like, oh yeah, the invisible man in the sky told me. How do you know he told you? How do I know that he told you? No, you have to just take my word, you're all going to die. I'd rather not. I'd rather not take your word because your word sounds like the words of a lunatic. Is the invisible man in the room with us now? Is he talking to you now? Okay, there's wonderful sides of religion, guys. Wonderful sides. Feed the poor, hungry, etc. You listen to Jesus Christ, read your Bible, because Jesus was actually awesome. He's a great person, and he said, my God, spread love and food and your wealth to everyone, and bring them in and love them, right? These guys say, no, let's kill them all. So end times is not in the Bible. End times is a wackadoodle thing that American evangelicals leadership came up with in the 1970s. That's the whole vacuuming into the sky thing. There's interpretations of every religion. There's 1,000 interpretations of each religion. They picked the most loathsome one where the world ends in a pool of blood, and they think that's awesome, and then they're trying to make that come true. I remember all the way back in the Bush years, evangelical leaders, when Bush said we should be even-handed to Palestinians and Israel, he didn't even mean it. He didn't do any of that, right? But evangelical leaders wrote him an angry letter saying, you better not be even, okay? Why, they care about Jews? No, at the end, all the Jews die. And they go, no, a couple of them converted. And then we murdered the rest of them, right? And so like, oh, I didn't know you were that merciful. Wow, that makes me feel a lot better, right? How about the Muslims? Oh no, they're all dead. They're all dead. We drowned them in their own blood. And yet when I said, hey, they wrote the letter, and then by the way, Bush changed his policy. The rest of me is like, you can't, that's offensive. I didn't write the goddamn letter, okay? I didn't ask them, and they're saying it's based on end times. Why don't you report the truth? No, the truth would offend people. So let's all pretend that maybe they are gonna get sucked up into the sky, and maybe the rest of us deserve to be murdered.
Yeah, because believing in things that you yourself have not seen is the problem. Like I said in my special, you can believe it, but just have an asterisk. Have the humility to say we think, we believe it to be so, but ask yourself, why did God only speak once during an era of very poor record keeping? Why does he not speak now when there's cameras and audio recording devices? He doesn't think maybe I should just pop down one more time and they could maybe put it on TV live on the top of Mount Sinai. They don't do that. No, apparently what they believe is the full quote is love thy neighbor as you would love thyself until I kill them. Just wait for that. But I'm sure this was just an isolated incident. I'm sure Lauren Boebert still believes generally in a separation of church and state, right? I'm sorry, I'm being told that is not at all true. I'm also being told I do not have an earpiece in. But let's go to the instant classic clip to wrap up this story. Her remarks to the Cornerstone Christian Center in Colorado back in June for what she thinks about separation of church and state.
The reason we had so many overreaching regulations in our nation is because the church complied. The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter and it means nothing like what they say it does.
Well, she's the authority. Thanks for speaking out on the issues. Can we go to the next story?
Okay, of course in the Constitution it says you shall not establish a religion. And last question I'll ask for the good folks out there, if the church is supposed to run the government, which by the way, fundamentalist Muslims totally agree with. They just think the mosque should run the government. You guys maybe fight it out somewhere in a corner and leave us out of it. But if you do believe that, which church? Presbyterian, Lutheran, Pentecostal, they got snakes, they got fun snakes, okay? Seventh-day Adventists, which church is gonna run us? Okay, now fight amongst yourselves. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.